the sponsor of this show is A Game After Sport Rub Down. If we were doing this podcast in Manila, I'd have all these gifts for you, but I have to mention them. Okay. And we do an A Game moment on this show. So what the A Game moment is of your young career, what do you think the highlight has been so far up to this point?
Are you talking about my professional career or my career in the PBA right now?
Professional career. You can add in international experience, ABL experience, whatever you feel is the highlight.
I'm going to say the best thing that happened to me so far in my professional career was getting cut in France. After our team failed to make, after our team was mathematically eliminated from playoff contention, I was cut. And I was cut in it was really devastating, especially the way that they handled it. I had a lot of pride, and it really stung me. That was my first time I really felt like I failed at something, especially in basketball. My whole life has been pretty much smooth sailing when it came to basketball. I just always had that natural gift, and I was just always able to just will myself into successful situations. And then I come to France. And what a lot of people don't know is I signed late to France. Most people out of college, they sign August, and I didn't sign until October. So I was jobless after college, and I just had a kid. So a lot of people don't know, and I think this might even be the first time I've said it out loud to people, to strangers. But I had to get a job working in a factory, stacking boxes, just so I can, have some kind of money to give to my kid. At the time, he wasn't even 1 year old yet. Wow. So, that was a really tough time in my life. But, that kind of pain that you feel like that it either breaks you or it makes you. And after I got cut in France, they didn't even pay me. I had to stay. It was it was very humiliating. They didn't pay me for 3 months or 2 months, something like that. I was eating ice cream and fries at one point because I had no money. But that kind of stuff toughens you up. And they're humiliating me. They said that if I wanted to, I could go home, but I won't get my money. If I wanted to get my money, which they owed me already, they should have given me, I had to stay and practice with the B team 3 times a week, and it was just like a bunch of non-professionals, unorganized open runs. So I had to practice with them, and I hated it, but ironically, I eventually found, grew relations with these guys, these local French guys. They barely spoke English. And I used that gym time 3 times a week to work on my game. And after I got cut, when I went home, it was just a huge eye-opener. And it made me think, like, do I really want to play pro and miss out on my kids' early life and miss out on my family? I was getting homesick. I was by myself in France. But something switched in me and just turned me into a beast. I trained as hard as I could. I thought I was working hard my whole life. I was not. And after that France stint, it just switched me into a next level basketball player. And I knew what it took to be successful. And I grinded my ass off that summer. I did everything possible to get better. I used that European experience. And, lo and behold, I ended up winning the championship, getting MVP my next year. So if it wasn't for that moment when my coach cut me, I don't think I would have been where I am right now. So as of right now, that was probably the biggest and the best thing that's ever happened to me was actually getting cut.
Well, there you have it, the A game moment, and I just want to comment on that. I asked you about, that's just a great example, but I asked you about the highlight of your career, and you come with the lowest point probably of your
absolute
career.
Lowest point.
And that's just awesome that you're able to turn that into a positive and push yourself to where you are now. That's great to hear, man.
Yeah.
Let's move on to some Twitter questions, see what is out there. We have a question from Jerry Monzon at Jerry West Monzon on Twitter.
The logo, man.
Yeah. He asks, thanks for the question. He asks, I'm going to paraphrase this here. Do you think you have the same Puso and hunger of the homegrown players, even though you're not from here?
I don't think that the fact that I was born in another country limits my, the amount of heart that I give. I understand that, the Filipinos they live by that saying, that Puso and all that pride. And it's true, you see it. But, I don't know if these guys know, but I identify myself as Filipino. My father left at an early age. I was just raised by my Filipino mom and my Filipino grandmother, my Filipino uncle, and my Filipino cousin. So I lived in a straight Filipino house. You know, it was almost like a Tarlac house in Toronto. So I grew up, eating Filipino food. My house smelled like fried fish in the morning. That was perfectly seasoned for me to go into the PBA. And when I came to the Philippines, there was absolutely no culture shock. I fit right in. I felt right at home. I even wear slippers to Mega Mall. I completely just embraced that lifestyle. So, to answer that question, I'd say definitely not. I don't think that has anything to do with the lack or questioning with my heart at all. I am Filipino, and I do represent this country, and I think that it doesn't matter where you're born. You either have it or you don't. When it comes to heart.
Yeah, I think just by watching you play and the things that you've done, even up to this point, I don't think anyone can question that. But interesting question. Thank you, Jerry Muntins, at Jerry West Munzon.